Hi everyone, this is Pramita here, and thank you for visiting my channel. If you are a first timer, then please don't hesitate to hit the like button if you like the video, and if you plan on subscribing, then I will be more than happy. And a very warm welcome to everyone who is watching this video who has been a subscriber to my channel. So today we are going to do another of MS Scrap Busters. I am really hooked onto these kind of videos. You know me, and Melina is wonderful. I am talking about Melina Plant. I will link her video below in the description box. She had made this folded pockets, and again I have tweaked it a little bit. I have made them in such a way that so that they can be hinged on a page. So I have added that fabric piece. I'm showing you how it's going to look on this journal that I will be showing you sometime later on once I finish doing what I'm up to. So you can glue three sides and then you can put it on the cover, or you can make it into a flip just like this. So you will have three pockets, three pockets, and if you glue it down, then of course you're going to have four pockets. So this is going to be a different project. I'm going to show you later on. So this is what we are planning on doing this time. And what I have done is I have taken up some digitals that I have, all scraps that I have saddled with. So I'm going to just take off the white edge from the end, and also I'm going to take off this extra bit that I have. So I will be working with only this, but this paper was a full size paper, I guess. No, that was also a small scrap that I had, but it was wider. So the pocket was a little bit wider also. So this time it is not going to be as wide as the previous one, or the sample one that I have done. And it is so simple. Thank you, Melina, from the bottom of my heart for showing this pocket. And it is so addictive. You can make them in a jiffy. If you don't want to sew them, that's fine. This paper is around 5.5 to 6 inches, but not entirely 6. So I'm just trying to straighten this edge up, because I had done a very wonky job. So I've straightened that part, and now I'm going to show you how to go about this folded pocket thingy. So I'm taking the paper and I'm just folding it in half. That's all that you need to do, and that's it. So now you can decide which part, if you're taking a digital, which part you want your pocket to be, the smaller pocket to be. So it's totally up to you. And also the height of the pocket is also according to your desire. Whatever you want or whatever suits you is the best. So this is, if you take a narrow paper, of course your pocket is going to be narrow. But I don't think you should take a paper less than the width of 2 inches. Otherwise your pocket is going to be very narrow. Of course there's no harm in making narrow pockets. It's totally, as I said, it's totally according to your wish. So I'm going to make 2 notches, and also I'm going to show you, Melina did it this way. I also do it this way when I'm in for a bigger notch. So what I'll do is I'm just going to match these 2 sides up, and I'm going to take off the circle at one go. Now I will tell you why I'm doing this, because if when you're making a pocket that is stacked like this, your if your notches don't match up, then it might look a little bit odd. Either you make 2 different kind of notches, or you make the same notches at the same fashion, or at same if I don't know if I'm making sense, but they have to be, you know, very uh, parallel to each other. So that is why I'm placing the circle. I'm going to trim both. I'm going to take off that circle in both the parts, and you'll see how they look once I take it off. I'm just going to use my scissors to take that circular part off, and I'm totally off the frame. I can pretty well uh, you know, guess that. Anyways, it doesn't do any harm. You won't learn anything from my cutting this. So typical of me. Anyways, so here is my pocket. So now you can see I'm going to push that paper a little bit below, so you'll see how it is going to tally. So this is the back part. So now you can decide whichever side you want your pocket to be. So probably I'm going to make it this way. So I'll have that butterfly on the other side, because again I'm going to make this as a you know, pocket with a hinge, so I can add it on a page and then I can move it around. So I'm just inking this part up, and I'm going to just take off a little bit of whiteness from the edges, not much. I'll also show you how you can add hinges to pockets like this. So this is another version, you can see. So I'm just adding a little bit of ink, not much, because I don't want this to look very grungy. So now is the time when you are going to add the spine, you know, the hinge, not the spine, sorry. So you have to be careful about where your pocket ends. So my pocket ends there. I'm just going to mark that by inking that part up, so I am pretty sure where I'm laying my fabric. So now my fabric is going to go in. I'm not going to put the fabric all throughout. I'm going to start from here and till the end of the pocket. Okay, so this is all I want, because the other part is going to be stitched, you know, the bottom part is going to flip over, and then I will stitch it along the edges. So you don't need to have the hinge on that side. So before stitching, I'm just going to lay down a little bit of glue, just so that my fabric doesn't move too much when I'm stitching. That's it. That's the only purpose I have. And I'm just smoothing it. This is one of my you know, least desirable thing in crafting. Anyways, so I'm just laying this fabric down, and I'm going to take off the extra. But before that, I'm just making sure that it doesn't move too much, because then my hinge will be irregular, and I don't want that to happen. So I'm just laying this down, and I'm going to trim off the extra. But if I have a little bit more extra, then I can obviously go back later and show you that I've trimmed it down. So this is how it's going to look. It's going to have that hinge. Okay, yeah. So I'm going to trim off that extra once I have stitched everything down. So it's going to be as a hinge. So now I will show you how it's going to go in. Suppose this is a page, and this is going to be put down on the page. You can put another pocket over here. You can put a vellum pocket, whatever suits you. And I'm going to stitch around this and show you how it looks. So this is how it's looking. So whenever I'm making a pocket, even before I stitch everything down, glue everything down, finally, I always stitch the perimeter first, and then I decide which side or which part I want finally closed, because otherwise I might make a mistake. So I always stitch around the perimeter, and also I like the, you know, stitched look on the lip of the pocket or envelope, that rounded part that you have. So I can add a little bit of ephemera over here. You can decorate this as you like. It's totally up to you. So I'm not going to put anything right away. I'm just going to stitch around this again so that it's ready, and I'll show you how it looks once I've stitched everything. So I'll be back to show you how it looks. So now I've stitched everything down, and I'll show you. You can put the die cuts. These are some die cuts from my stash. These die cuts as uh, pockets, like in the pockets itself, like a pocket full of posies sort of thing, or you can just glue them down and then add it on a page, and then it can flip up. You can put a vellum pocket. You can just skip putting a pocket or any other pocket that you want. You can do that later on. So we have two done, so you can see how quickly and easily they can be done. Now you can do that with tea stained or coffee stained paper also. These are some eco dyeing I had done, some experimentation that I had done with some flowers, and I was not very happy how they came out anyways, but it still has a kind of purplish tinge to it. So I'm going to make two pockets from this letter sized or A4 sized paper. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this paper into half. So I'm just trying to make sure whether I'm just guesstimating if I can make it lengthwise, but then it's going to be too narrow, as I said before. So I'm just going to fold this paper in half, and I can make two pockets from one sheet of paper. And this is just a variation that I have shown. You can also use your cardstock papers, your pattern papers that you're not using so much. I'm just trying to guesstimate. No, I would want them on the width. So this is how I want. Yes. So I'm just going to slice the paper into half. I should get my metal ruler out. And I'm going to take this metal ruler and slice the paper in half. That's it. So now the folding begins. It's a very simple fold that I have shown, and just as Melina had done, I've just followed her instructions, nothing else. And once again, thank you, Melina, so much. You are such an inspiration that I cannot express in words. I hope you are feeling better. I hope you see this video, and because I know you were having some problems with vertigo. I too suffer from vertigo, and I know how irritating it can be. So I'm just using my circle punch, and in this case what I'm using is I'm just figuring out the center, and I'm going to punch an half circle of sorts through all the four portions, all the four papers, so that I have an equal, there should be a kind of symmetry between these pockets. I feel you can make it a straight pocket also, but it's just that I feel personally I can do it this way. So again, I'm doing the same thing with the other half. I'm just bringing it to the edge, making it flush to the edge, and then I am just using my punch to take off the extra. That's it. And now I just need to fold this. So again, the height of the pocket is totally dependent on you, whichever way you like. And I will show you in both these there are two different heights, like this one is taller and the other one is shorter. So it's totally up to you, it's your call. And now I'm going to use some stencils, inks and stamps just to give this a kind of background. So you don't need to do this. Again, I am just using a script stamp and some other stamps and stencils that I have. But of course I'm going to do some collage, but I'm not going to do anything at the back because these are going to be glued down on the page. So I can glue on three sides and then keep one side open. So I'll have another pocket at the back. So here what I'm doing is I'll show you a trick that I follow. I have talked about this. I am a little bit heavy handed when it comes to inking. So what I do is I use this the backing sheets of the stamps or some acrylic packaging that you get. I use that, and what I do is I just start from the outside of the paper, and that helps me give a very evened out edge to the inking thing, you know, because it just works well. If you place a plastic sheet, it will do the same. So I just have this acrylic backing. I have used that. So I'm not going to ink anymore, because you will see once I stencil, see how heavy handed I became. You won't be able to make out anything once I stamp or stencil. But initially, so this is how the plasticky thing looks. So you just lay that down and start inking. So these are tiny tips that I share. These are some tips that I follow. So try to watch the video, from the start to the finish. Please don't drag the video. You won't be able to gather the tips that I share, because these are things that I've learned the hard way. As I say always, I was never a scrapbooker. I was just making journals for myself, and that's how I came into making journals for others. And I'm just inking a little bit on the inside, not much, because you will see once I start stamping and stenciling, these pockets will look pretty grungy. So I'm keeping it at this, and then I'll show you what I'm going to do. So I'm not going to do the inking at the back, as I said. I'm just taking this word stamp, script stamp, and I'm just lightly inking this. And I have a scrap paper there, and I'm just dabbing it randomly, no rhyme or reason, just dabbing it, and just to give it a background, nothing else. I don't want this to be very clear, prominent, standing out. No, nothing of that sort. I just want a background, that's it. So I'm not going to do anything else, and then I'm going to use my stencils. But before that, I'm going to spritz a little bit of water. Now I have used distress oxide in Vintage Photo. That's because distress oxides, react better with water. That's it. You can do the same thing with distress inks. They will react to water, but distress oxides react to water more. That's the only difference I found. Otherwise, they are basically the same. And yeah, so I'm just taking off the extra water, just a little bit. And this is a stamp I do not like, but I like the splattered image, and I'm just trying to see if I can get that splatter look. See, I don't like that. Immediately it gives a blotched kind of look, but I'm just adding a little bit of interest, nothing else. I will cover that up probably. And now I'm going to stencil. So I have used two types of stamps, and then I'm using my stencil, but the stencil is going to be very light. I'm not going to do much because most of it is going to be covered up. I'm going to add layers to this. So I'm just doing a very light stenciling, just a little bit of stenciling, nothing else. And because, as I said, you won't be able to see anything very clearly, but you will only have a background. So I'm going to cover that. I don't like that blotched ink look. So that's it. And this one I'm going to go with the stenciling again. So as you can see, very light stenciling, and you can spritz another round of water, but I'm not trying to do that anymore, because this is how they are looking. Now I'm going to use this stamp. This is a postage stamp that I have, and I'm just going to lightly use that just to create backgrounds. They are not there is no need to have a perfect stamped image. The blurrier the better, you can say. Here I can decorate with these die cuts, but I'm not going to use these. But I'm going to do something else. So I am not using, you can use die cuts like this. If you have some unused die cuts, go ahead, use them. And now I'm going to show you how I am going to embellish these pockets. So this is going to be super easy project, you can try that. So I have this tiny scrap craft paper, packaging paper sort of thing that I'm going to be using for my I'm going to cover that splotchy look, that's there, that is bugging me. So I'm going to put that over here, and then I'm going to work around it. So I am going to glue that down. So you can see it's a piece of packaging that I had. I really love craft packaging, and I'm going to lay this down so my blotchy look is covered. And I'm going to take off this extra bit. Okay, and then I am going to use some die cuts, but no, I'm going to use some labels. So I will be using some labels from my stash, and I'm just going through it. So these are some labels that I have that I want to use, because I want to use that blue butterfly, and I am just trimming this part off. So this is totally up to you how you want to embellish. I just go about it. I try to keep it simple, but as I said, simple and appealing. That is what my motto is. I do not like to do too much, but some things are very technique based. Like I can put it over here, okay, but this looks too big for the top part. So I might move it away, and I might use something else over there. So I'm going to probably put this one at the bottom part, and on the top, that craft colored background that I've created, I will be using some floral images. So again, I'm digging into my fussy cut floral box. I really need to fussy cut out some. This is going to be too big, so I'm not going to use that probably. I don't want too big an image because this pocket is not very big. So I'm going to take that off and see. Yeah, this one looks better. This is from my Porch Prince. She has those fussy cut florals. I had bought them way back, and again I'm out with my favorite word labels because of the size and also because of the font. A lot of things work in advantage to this size and font, and I'm going to use this Imagine, and that's it. And I'm going to be using some this label, specimen number. So that label is from printables from Graphics Fairy. So I'm using that, and but I want to layer that label on a little bit of scrap that I have. So I'm going to use that scrap. See how most of the stamped image got covered up, but still there is this background going on. So that is what I wanted, and that is what I have achieved. So I'm happy with the way things are right now. So it seems I have lost a tiny clip. I have not recorded that. So I finished this pocket, and here is the pocket, and the top part has another pocket. What I've done is, to the bottom part, I have stitched both the papers together because this is printer paper. It's not very sturdy. So I decided to stitch together this, and I've just added a little bit of lace, you know, cut-offs that I had. Here I'm just going to add this background. These papers are from my shop. These are collage papers that I have, and I will be adding that this number, and then I'm going to probably add a butterfly or label or something of that sort. So just a minute. I just bumped against the camera. So this is one of my butterfly fussy cut sheets. uh, I'm going to guesstimate what size of butterfly I want. I think this orange one is looking nice, the orange one at the bottom. So I'm going to trim that, or the black one, whatever. So I'm going to trim this one because I think that's most suitable, and I am going to fussy cut around it and put it there. So I had a clip that I lost, I think, while filming. I don't know why it did not get saved. I really have no idea. A lot of things was going on when I was filming. I had a few deliveries that I needed to take, you know, from Amazon and stuff like that. So maybe somewhere I have, you know, I thought I have recorded it, but maybe I did not record anything. So that was a little bit of a mishap sort of thing. Anyways, so I'm going to place this like so, like it. It's pretty interesting. And also I'm going to put this word friend. Now this was a printing mistake. I had to salvage this part from you know, mistake that I had done during printing. This word is from My Poch Prints, and I'm going to put something at the top, and I'm going to snip off that little tiny lace scrap. So you can also use up your scraps to embellish your pockets a little bit. So I'm going to put all these down, and at the top I will put another butterfly label, probably because I really like them. But before that I just need to put everything down in the bottom section. So I'll put that number 20 down, and I'm also going to put that butterfly. So yeah, so that butterfly is looking pretty neat, and I'm going to stitch this friend and the lace in the bottom half. So I'm going to do that later, but let's decide on something that we're going to put on the top part. So for the top part I think I'm going to use another label. So let me see if I can get hold of another label. And yeah, so these are the labels that I have, and I'll probably be using there's this another one, you know, teal colored one. I like that one better, so I'm going to be using that one probably. Initially I thought I'll use some blank label, you know, then I thought no, I'm going to use this teal one. So I think I like that, and I'm going to use that. So I'll trim that down and use it, and then we'll see how it goes. So I'm going to trim that down, and I'm going to use it to see how it looks. So I don't know whether this is going to work or not, because it is a little bit longer than I would have liked, but let's see how I can, you know, fix it or put it on the front part. So I'm going to just add it at an angle probably, but again, as I said, this is too long and I don't like this putting over here. But then Let's see what happens. So I'll probably take off this tiny bit and see how it looks. So I'm going to take off that tiny butterfly image, and I'm going to fix that. So I'm going to put it there, and I'm going to put this over here. So it's going to look like this. So that's how it's looking. So I'll come back and show you after I've stitched everything down how the completed look is going to be. So let me glue this label down, and then I will be good to go. So if you are stitching pockets like this, then do the stitching in such a way so that only the gluing part will come towards the end. Gluing part means sealing up the pocket, not gluing up the ephemera or the die cuts that we are using. So I've done this part. Now is the time when I'm going to stitch all around the pocket first, and then I'm going to close up the sides. So now it's looking a little bit better. Yeah, but honestly I really like the the long labels, but this pocket being very small, I had to trim this and do it this way. So I'm going to stitch everything, and I'll come back and show you how it looks. Hi, so I've stitched everything down, and I'm just going to give you an overview of how the pockets are looking. So these are the two papers that were really blankish. I have added all sorts of textures and stuff like that, and labels and stuff. And this one where I've added this pocket, and on the other side there is this butterfly image which can be hinged, and this one is the other one that I had already done before. So we had completed these ones. So thank you, Melina, for this wonderful process tutorial video and being such a big inspiration. Thank you. I will be watching out more MS Scrap Busters and doing a few more. So bye everybody, have a great day, and please do pockets like this and add mini ephemera, mini stuff that you have, or you can add more pockets at the back also. If you plan on hinging them, then they will work nicely. So here I have all the pockets, but that's it. So thank you everybody for watching this. Bye, have a great day.